What's up, folks? Welcome to Woodworking Against the Grain. Look here, it's almost Valentine's Day, and you know what that means. That's that day in February when you got to get your significant other something special. Let them know how you feel about them. Some people buy flowers. I don't recommend that because you really can't eat them. Some people buy chocolate. That's okay. But what we're going to do today, we're going to make an Italian cream cake that's off the chain. And if you make this one for your Valentine, for your sweetheart, I promise you, they'll love you from then on. Save the flowers and get them sometime when you've done something stupid and you need forgiveness. For Valentine's Day, make this cake. It's going to be something special. We're going to try to zip through this pretty quick and condense all this stuff down where you don't have to sit and watch a whole bunch of boring stuff about making a cake. So listen close. Some of this stuff you can't see going into the mixer. You just have to listen and take my word for it. We're going to start out with your basic 2 sticks of butter going into the mixer. To those 2 sticks of butter, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. And then we're going to add a 1.5 cups of plain old everyday white granulated sugar. 1.5 cups. That's a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1.5 cups of granulated sugar in with the 2 sticks of butter. And we're going to turn this on real slow. Get this bowl up here. We're going to turn that on just 1 notch and let that get together real good and cream up. When that sugar and butter comes together, we're going to add 5 of these fresh eggs right here. Now I know these eggs are fresh because I picked them up yesterday. If you need some eggs, you need to let me know because I got eggs to sell. $3 a dozen, they're off the chain. I want you to see how bright yellow these yolks are in these eggs. I hope you can see that. That's a pretty egg right there. We're going to add 5 of these. It's a 3-layer cake. You're going to want to get 3 9-inch round cake pans ready for this. We'll talk about that in a minute. Get these eggs going in a bowl here while our sugar and butter is getting happy over here. This Italian cream cake, it's a little bit challenging to make because it's got a lot of ingredients in it. It's not something you want to whip up real quick right before supper, something you want to do on a special occasion like Valentine's Day. We got our eggs going on right here. All 5 of them there. This is looking pretty good. We'll make one quick stop here and scrape down the sides of this bowl just a little bit. Got a new mixer here and I'm not really used to it yet, but I'm getting there. Scrape that down just a little bit. Raise it back up. Turn it on real slow. As long as this is just butter and sugar, you can beat it like it owes you money and you're not going to hurt anything. Right now we're going to start adding these eggs. We're going to add them one at a time. We're going to let that egg beat around in there a little bit before we add egg number 2. Let it do the same thing. This is a pretty rich batter. It's going to have a lot of good ingredients in it. I'll list them for you as we go along. You can write this down while you're listing if you want to. The last 2 went in by themselves. They're going to have to be twins. Now, we're going to let this butter and egg stuff mix up here. Right here is 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla flavoring. Add that to your butter and stuff. This, you can't really tell there's much of anything in there, but that's a 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. It's a very concentrated flavor. Doesn't take very much of that to get you going a long ways. We'll turn this up just a notch. Get that going creamed up real good there, and then we're going to stop it. Let it down and scrape the sides again. You always, when you're making good cakes and pies and stuff where you're using a mixer, always take the time to scrape down the sides of the bowl with a good rubber spatula. It'll pay off in the long run. Raise that back up. Now, I'm going to turn this on very low. Right here is all our dry stuff. I didn't take you through the process of putting this together, but it's simple. Sift 2 cups of flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, and a teaspoon of baking soda, and a half a teaspoon of salt. Doesn't take much salt because we're going to be using buttermilk in this cake, and buttermilk's already got a little bit of salt going to it. So get all your dry stuff together, sift it good, get all the lumps out of your flour. Once you get this egg and butter and sugar mixture creamed up, we're going to start adding this flour and this buttermilk. Let me tell you something about this buttermilk right here right quick. I hope you can tell how thick that is. That's not low-fat buttermilk. That's full-fat Bulgarian cultured buttermilk. You're going to want to use that in this cake, and that's really the kind of buttermilk you want to keep in the house to make your cornbread, your pancakes, your biscuits. A lot more full flavor than low-fat buttermilk. We're going to add a couple of teaspoons of this flour and baking powder and stuff. We'll add 2 or 3 heaping ones of that. And then we'll pour in a little bit of this buttermilk. You want to alternate this back and forth till you get all your dry stuff and all your buttermilk in there. And then we're going to start adding the tricks to this cake. Over here in another bowl that you can't see yet, I've got a whole 14-ounce package of sweetened flaked coconut that I have toasted. And I've got about 1.5 cups of toasted pecans. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of this flour and the rest of this buttermilk to this. And once you add your flour, you got to kind of monitor your beating time. You don't want your cake to end up tough. Now once you get all that in there, turn this up just a notch and let that get stirred good together. We're going to do one more scrape down of this. Get our sides all happy. And we're going to have some cake batter here before you even know it. You do want to mix it enough to get it thoroughly mixed. You just don't want to overbeat your flour. Raise that back up. Spin it on about half slow. Just for a few seconds. You don't want to go too long with this. Then we're going to take it out from under the mixture and we're going to hand add these other 2 ingredients right here. Then we'll put this in the oven and we'll talk about the icing after that. That come together pretty good. We're going to take that out. I'm going to try to let you see how good that batter looks right there. If I can get this bowl where the camera can see it just a little bit right there. That's a good looking batter. Now, what we're going to do to this batter, I toasted this coconut. I hope you can tell it's toasted. It's light brown and it's sticky because the caramel, the sugar in it caramelizes when you start toasting it. Now I'm only going to put about half of this in this batter because the rest of it is going to be garnish for the icing. Now once you get that coconut in there, right here I've got 1.5 cups of good, fresh toasted pecans. I'm going to add about 2/3 of these pecans to this batter. Save a few of them to go on top of the icing. Now, we got that in here. We just want to kind of fold this in to this batter till it just kind of disappears. You can't tell where the coconut stops and the cake batter starts. Now once we get that stirred in good, I've got the oven set to 350. You're going to want to bake this for about 25-30 minutes till the toothpick comes out clean. You know the drill there. We got this coconut and stuff stirred in here. We'll show you a little bit of a cake pan trick right quick. And then we're going to go ahead and get this in the stove. Right here, don't worry, I didn't run away. I've got 3 9-inch non-stick cake pans. They're good and heavy pans. The recipe says grease and flour the bottom and sides of these pans. Don't do that. That's a 50-50 chance of your cake sticking or not. What I have begun doing is, with all my cakes, I cut me some rounds of parchment paper and I put them in the bottom of these cake pans and I pour the batter on top of them and bake them that way. That's a 100% guarantee your cake's not going to stick. So we're going to pour this batter into 3 of these pans, stick them in the oven, 30 minutes. When they come out, we'll take a look at them. We'll make up some Italian cream cheese icing to go on top. Don't run away. All right, here comes the fun part. We got our cake out of the oven. It's over there cooling. Right here in this bowl, I've got 2 sticks of butter and 2 8-ounce packages of cream cheese softened to room temperature. We're going to make some buttercream cheese icing to put on this cake. We're going to put all this conglomerate of stuff right here in the mixer. This is a pretty simple icing recipe. It's just butter, cream cheese, a couple of teaspoons of vanilla. And we're going to cream this. Bring our bowl up here. We're going to get this butter and cream cheese together. And into that, we're going to add 2 pounds of powdered sugar. You heard me right, 2 pounds of powdered sugar. That's what's going to make this lusciously sweet and worthy of Valentine's Day. Spin this a little bit fast so you can get your butter and your cream cheese to get mixed together till it kind of turns a pale yellow. And then you got to turn your mixer speed way down slow and start spooning this powdered sugar in there till you get all of it incorporated. Once you get it in there, you can speed it up for a few seconds and get it a little bit fluffy. Once your cake cools down to room temperature, we'll smear it on the cake. We're going to add this toasted coconut to the sides of our cake and put the rest of those toasted pecans on top. Now, I'm not going to take you through this whole icing ordeal. Just remember to cream your butter and cream cheese together good, scrape down your sides, and begin slowly adding your powdered sugar on slow speed. We'll be right back. All right, folks, we got our cake iced. We got all our coconut and pecans on top and the sides there. Let's just cut us a piece of it and see if it's Valentine's Day worthy. You want to? See what it looks like on the inside here. Make one of these for somebody you love this Valentine's Day. I'm telling you, they'll love you for it. Let's get a little bit of a piece of this and see what we think here. Always best served with coffee. A good looking piece of cake right there. Thanks for watching. Come back to see us.